Hello, welcome back to another video where we're studying the work of James Brindley here in the Irwell Valley. Now, you join us where we left off at part 1, exactly here on the riverbank. And if you haven't watched part 1, you really need to watch it because it will make this video make more sense. So this is the video you need to watch here, or maybe here. This is part 2, and we're going to try, where I'm stood now, we're stood above the syphon, the downcast syphon that took Brindley's head of water from the weir up at Ringley Weir down over there to drive a water wheel at Wet Earth Colliery. So what we need to do in this episode is we need to scramble down now, go down to the riverbank where we're going to investigate that downcast syphon. And when we get down on the riverbank, we might meet up with an old friend. So somehow I need to get down there now. Let's go. We've got some specialist equipment with us, provided by... He's back.
What are you doing? I'm back! With a hat.
It's Connor. He's back. And he's... you've got some gear for us, haven't you?
Yeah, I brought...
You brought a light the size of the sun. And we've got a gas meter, you'll be pleased to know. So we've managed to hire a gas meter because when we go in here, obviously we're concerned about gas. I'll tell you more about this thing in a minute and what we've worked out what it is. What have you got? So there's the gas meter.
So you just press that on and it detects 4 types of gas, which I forgot.
Anyway, it's a 4 gas meter.
And we've also got the canine light over there.
So Connor's got us a light that's as big as the sun, so he tells me. So demonstrate this thing for us.
And then you've got, obviously,
perfect for the tunnel.
Light up. Ooh. Whatever you want to light up.
We're getting almost professional now, aren't we? How long did it take to charge that?
2 days.
2 days to charge, amazing, eh? So we need to tell you about where we are and what we're doing in this part 2 of Wet Earth Colliery. Okay, remember this map from part 1. The water has come from Ringley Weir and follows the course of the red dotted line. We're now at the syphon downcast on the north side of the riverbank. So let's look at that area in more detail. Okay, so here's a more detailed drawing of that arrangement done by Danny, and this is taken from a book and we've reproduced it. I will quote the book at the end of the video. As we zoom in, you will notice it says syphon chamber and the red dot. That's the downcast syphon. You will notice at the top it says washout tunnel. We're going to walk along that washout tunnel and try to get to the syphon chamber. You'll notice it also says collapsed tunnel. I'll address that as well. So the following journey is along the washout tunnel. I've turned the power of that light down to a lower level because it kind of whites everything out. And when we get to a feature that we need to look at, I'll crank the power back up. So the following is a journey along the washout tunnel towards the syphon chamber. And just bear in mind, this tunnel is 264 years old. See there we have the old timbers there of what we think was some sort of a gate mechanism to barrier this tunnel off from the river in flood. The ceiling is really sort of flaky there, really sort of flaky. It looks like it's been burned at one point, that. I don't know what's happened there. Brick recess there, and you've got bolts in it. If you can see that, there's a bolt there. Just there, yeah, that's probably held some sort of doorway. So we'll just take a look on the other side of that now. And again, you'll see the way the brick sort of inlays there. I'll show you the other side of this doorway now. So there you go, some sort of doorway. You can see this is metal, and it's like a lintel sort of arrangement there. And above it is brick, and that's a shaft up there. I'll show you up there in a second. But we think this was a doorway that kept the river down there out, if necessary, or possibly to keep the water from coming down here. So there you go, there's the lintel, and if you look up there, we've got a shaft up there. Looks like it's metal, corrugated metal covering it, and we think that, well, that will be on the riverbank that we've just scrambled down. And you can see it's rock, and then we've got kind of some brick arrangement there, and you'll see up there more pick marks, and there's like a round rim there in the shaft. You see that? And some old timber. Absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So, looks like we're opening out here into something, into some sort of a chamber. Again, we've got some sort of gateway here. Lots of mud built up here. I'll just turn round. If you turn around here now, look at this. So we've got another sort of a doorway there, or what would have been a gateway. You can see there, the arrangement there. Bit of a spider there, just going up. See him? And we've got, again, a ridge. So we'll go forward.
So here we are at the siphon chamber. Okay, looking directly ahead, you'll see a brick wall, not the one with a hole in it to the right, the one directly ahead. There's a piece of wood against that wall that we think operated some kind of sluice gates. And where it's bricked up directly ahead, we think that is the collapsed tunnel. Here it is on the drawing. Now, this book that we've taken this drawing from is from the late 50s, early 60s. That has been collapsed for a long time. Here is the collapsed tunnel, what we think is the collapsed tunnel out on the riverbank. Okay, the wall to the right with the hole in it. Firstly, a disclaimer. We would never damage that wall, and we haven't damaged the wall. There's a video on YouTube much earlier than this one, dated much earlier, and the hole in the wall is there. All we've done today is to come in to take photographs and film it. That said, behind that brick wall is the downcast siphon. Normally in pitch blackness, today we will light it and we can take a look at where Brindley sent the water underneath the riverbed in his masterstroke 264 years ago. Let's take a look at the downcast siphon. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the chamber. Behind there is the collapsed tunnel, and that piece of wood probably operated a little gate mechanism, a sluice gate mechanism at the bottom there to allow more water out, another washout that's collapsed. There's a shaft, and that piece of wood probably went all the way to the top and could be operated up on the riverbank. I think when I did my opening sequence to this video, I was probably stood pretty much above this shaft. Brick lined, and the wood has broken midway. So as we come back down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look in the collapsed tunnel behind the wall, behind this wall, and we'll stick a GoPro in and we'll take a look just behind these little, what I think are sluice gates. You can just about make out the collapse up ahead. What I'll do in a minute is I'll pull out of this side and go in the other side to try and get you another view. Okay, so that's the collapsed tunnel. Not a great deal to see, but we've seen it and you've seen what we've seen now. Right, the journey continues from the siphon chamber along Principal Tunnel to Weir. So this is the tunnel that brings the water from the Weir. We know that this isn't complete. Let's flick over to the main map, and we're heading in this direction now towards Ringley Weir. And as we look at our main map, that's the direction we're heading in. We know this was broke into by the sewage works and it's incomplete.
No.
I would have thought there would be some. It's still flashing yellow, so that's good.
So that's it, journey's end for the moment. Beyond there, the tunnel is cut through by the sewage works that's on the other side of there. I will stick the GoPro through there in a moment.
Something through there.
So yeah, in places where the rock cracked, Brindley lined the brick to give it a bit of extra strength.
it is, but it's thin, wide, gap, thin, gap, wide.
Yes, it is, and it has a...
So it's definitely...
So you'll see it as it's regular, so it'll go wide, a couple of thin ones, so look if that's visible on the camera. And they've obviously had some sort of slats of wood in there, I think. And then down here is some sort of mechanism. There, just take your torch off it. Some sort of mechanism there. Possibly, I don't know, sluice mechanism or something, because the water would have come coursing that way. There's another sort of mechanism in the wall there. Can you see that? Something else that would have maybe slotted in there. You just take your torch off. That's, you can see the slot, something that's been rammed in the side there. And you see it goes from brick line there, then it goes to bare rock. And all sorts of mechanisms that were in the wall here. Another one there, it looks like a gate again, doesn't it there? Incredible. And then hacked out of the wall, hacked out the rock.
Okay, so we're back in the washout tunnel and we will head back out now onto the riverbank.
What, we on Mars bars? Where's Connor?
It's in the river.
Do you not prefer a marathon?
What, do you mean like the London one?
No, the chocolate bar that's punctuated with peanuts.
Oh.
Okay, so this is Danny's sketch taken from a book. That's the course of the water and that's the syphon. To the right is the downcast, to the left is the upcast. Now you can study that if you like. You'll see that the water runs beneath the riverbed of the River Irwell. I think sometime in the early 2000s, and I might have to clarify this with you, a diver was sent down the upcast, which is the shaft to the left. He didn't get very far down because apparently it's all silted up now. As far as I'm aware now, there's no flow of water through that. Obviously, I think the intention was to get to the tunnel at the bottom, the horizontal tunnel, but that was never achieved. Completely silted up. I would imagine that horizontal tunnel, nobody's been down there since possibly when it was built. Because when it was in use, there would have been a hell of a flow of water on it. So that's that. You can study that if you like. But our water now goes through Brindley's inverted syphon, and we now need to go onto the opposite bank to look at the upcast shaft.
So we've come to the opposite side of the river. You'll see the river is down there. So we're at the opposite bank to the washout tunnel. Here, this little piece of concrete I want to show you here now just a short walk from the riverbank, is the top of the upcast shaft. There. That is the top of the upcast. So it's beneath us here, and as you can see, the riverbank is a short walk there.
A sloping tunnel leads to the upcast syphon. I've been told that that floor in there sounds hollow. Also, the fact that it slopes down to a water-filled pit where you can't be exactly sure where the edge is makes it extremely dangerous. Just do not go in there, and I'm not going to go in there, so here's my idea.
Now that upcast shaft is concealed within a small tunnel, and we don't really want to go in there because it's dangerous, and I wouldn't recommend anyone go in there. So what we need is some kind of remote camera, some kind of mobile camera that can crawl along that small tunnel and take a look at the upcast shaft for us, because I really don't fancy it. So, I don't know if you watch my videos, you may remember Cock Rover. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Tank Rover. This is Tank Rover. As you can see, it's a remote controlled tank that I've adapted. We've got a wall of light there because there was a GoPro on it, and GoPros aren't very good in low light, so I've got the lights mounting to it. So track lane vehicle is what we needed. We've had to put the turret backwards, but because it's a tank, the turret, we can turn it and the camera can look around. You'll see the purple wiring on the back. That is like an umbilical cord really, so we can keep hold of it, and if we Tank Rover gets stuck, we can pull it back. So there you go. It has to travel turret backwards, and you'll see what I've done is a bit of a Heath Robinson affair, a bit like Cock Rover. I've put a bit of wood on there, mounted GoPros and lights on it. It did say 0 there, but it fell off.
Okay, back to the upcast shaft. We're going to run Tank Rover along there. The best we can get is a slightly closer view. We're not going to get anything wonderful, but a slightly closer view of the upcast. Okay, so as I said, the best we could hope for is a slightly closer look at the upcast shaft, and that's what we've got. Note for next time, I must remember to switch the smoke effects off on Tank Rover. But interestingly, this was worth it because if you look to the left in the shaft, you will see a possible tunnel. Okay, at the end of this series of videos, I'm going to kind of address some issues, and we will look into the theory of what that tunnel to the left could be, because according to all the books, that tunnel there shouldn't be there. Alright, Tank Rover is getting some difficulties now, so we're going to bring it out of the tunnel. Okay, so we're here now, just outside the upcast siphon shaft.
Again, see all this here? It must have been a tunnel to a point, mustn't it? And then you've got more timber there that's probably been some sort of gate, and bricks and a sluice gate.
So just to recap on our main map, James Brindley has now brought the water from Ringley Weir all the way down the red dotted line, through the inverted siphon and just to the point at the white arrow. It's now in the feeder stream. This is the feeder stream, and this is the course it took down towards Wet Earth Colliery. Obviously at one point it would have been much probably deeper than this. It's silted up over the years and it's nothing like it used to be.
There you go, thanks very much, hope you enjoyed the video. Just a side note, we've left everything intact down there at Clifton. We filmed and we photographed with the greatest of respect to the works of James Brindley. You wouldn't know we've been there. We've tried to be as safe as possible. We've used hard hats, gas meters, and in the case, as much as Tank Rover was a bit of a joke, it allowed us to film that upcast siphon shaft from a distance. We didn't need to go down towards it or near the edge. That is incredibly dangerous. Like I say, you don't know where the edge is, and it's a water-filled death trap. So we filmed it, like I say, with Tank Rover, didn't need to go near it. So be safe and respect what you're looking at. So that said, in part 3, we're going down the feeder stream, looking at the features in the feeder stream and getting to the part where it turns into Fletcher's Canal, and we'll be taking a sharp right into the colliery. We've not filmed it yet, we need to go back and film it. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall see you next time. Bye for now.